Good morning, meteorologist Bob Acarfrio with a tropical update for Tuesday, August 2nd, 2011. Well, what do we have today? Well, this morning we were following Tropical Storm Emily here in the eastern Caribbean. Currently, Tropical Storm Emily has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles an hour. We have a west movement at 16 miles an hour. Tropical Storm Emily fairly weak this morning. We will have hurricane hunters back in this system later this morning, so we'll really get a good idea of how strong this system really is. This is the official forecast track by the National Hurricane Center. You can see tropical storm warnings out for Puerto Rico today. Looks like Puerto Rico, some squally weather, possibly some tropical storm force wind gusts to around 40 miles an hour. But basically, for those living across the island of Puerto Rico, you basically have dodged a bullet with this system, and shouldn't be too bad for you guys at all. Next, our focus will shift towards the Dominican Republic and Haiti. As I was talking about yesterday, as far as if you think you're going to feel the effects of this system possibly across Florida or even anywhere along the East Coast, if this system were to ramp up quickly, you would think it would then really scoot off more to the northwest. And as I was saying last night, if some of you were following me on Facebook or in my blogs, if you were to see this system move across the eastern Dominican Republic or even over the Dominican Republic, and it ramped up pretty quickly, which it does not look like it's going to do in the next 24 to 48 hours, and move more along this line, then pretty much it would move out to sea this way. Anything west of there, if this system were to come here across Haiti or even move even farther west more towards Jamaica and over Cuba, then it's going to move more on this path. Then we got to get our focus here across Florida and anywhere up along the East Coast here, especially across South Carolina, North Carolina, and as possible effects from this system down the road. And it's looking more and more likely that this system is really not going to take this path out to sea. In its weaker state now, this system's going to move more farther west, high pressure and control to its north here. And so far the official forecast track has shifted a little farther west with the National Hurricane Center. If this system continues to stay weak today, I wouldn't be surprised to see this track shift even farther west. Now everybody's going to ask, well, what about the Gulf of Mexico? Can it get into here? Well, we will have high pressure and control, which I'll show you in a minute here, across the western Gulf. So it's not going to be able to take this kind of path. It's going to find this channel here, but it can sneak into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. It could get up in this area, so that is still a possibility out there. Will it be strong enough once it gets out here? That's really the uncertainty right now, how strong it's going to be once it gets into this area here. A lot of negative impact here in the next couple days with Emily, whether it's going to strengthen or not. We do have a lot of land up in this area that it could cross, some shear up to its north, a lot of dry air. So again, it's really uncertain where and how it's going. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this track shift a little farther west today. Looking at Emily today in the satellite view this morning, again, not a real good satellite presentation right now. The center lies somewhere probably to the west of this convective area here. We've seen the convection kind of waning a little bit this morning. Not the greatest outflow. Kind of looks pretty sloppy here on the satellite view. So again, we'll get a better idea once the hurricane hunters get in there this morning. But just looking at the satellite this morning, it doesn't really look like and definitely doesn't look like a strengthening system by no means, and could be on its way to possibly weakening a little bit this morning. So it'll be interesting to see if the system could hold together today, during the day today. It is definitely in that area in the eastern Caribbean where we typically don't see systems strengthen. And I've seen a lot of systems kind of fall apart out in this area. I always think, being this close to South America here, in the eastern Caribbean, we see a lot of drier air in this region. That has a lot to do with it. With this system right now, we're seeing a lot of shear right to its north as well. But definitely a lot of dry air in this area at the moment, and that's really hurting this system trying to get itself together here. You can see this trough starting to get carved out here across the western Atlantic, down the eastern seaboard, and this could have the effect of trying to pull Emily up to the northwest eventually. Now where it gets pulled will really depend on how strong this system gets in the next 48 to 72 hours. The weaker it'll go, the more west it'll move. So we'll have to really watch that carefully the next few days for implications down the road for Florida and across the East Coast. And again, where it's going, I've been saying this before, it's going to take this little avenue here. We're going to have high pressure here in the western Gulf and our Azores high out here. So it's going to follow this path eventually up to the northwest and north. But where it makes that turn will really depend on the strength of Emily over the next 3 to 4 days. A weaker system will move farther west. If the system ramps up in the next 48 to 72 hours, then maybe more of a path up this way. So really, that's going to depend on the strength of Emily. As I'm going to show you now, the GFS and even the Euro model really weaken the system a lot. The GFS opens this system into an open wave and really just moves it to the west and really gets lost here across Cuba and basically goes away. So, I mean, it's very possible it'll do that too. So, we'll have to see. A lot of variables down the road for Emily at the moment. So here come the model runs, and we're seeing, you know, again, this shift. This isn't going to happen. This here, no way. We see some of the GFS ensemble models really taking it quickly this way. If the system were to ramp up quickly, which it's not going to do today, we could have maybe saw this kind of path, but that's not going to happen. Seeing this shift right in here, the consensus still lies, and that's where the National Hurricane Center is with the consensus right in here. But you see some of the BAM model runs now for 6Z starting to shift even a little farther west. So again, I wouldn't be surprised today to see a little shift to the west here in the National Hurricane Center forecast, and in some of the model runs we might see something out in this area here. Clark Evans 6Z just showing you more. Again, we have consensus in here, but then we do have some starting to come out in this area as well. Intensity. Well, intensity in the National Hurricane Center has really been going with the LGM model, which they normally do. And we're seeing it, you know, LGM's right in here. You can't really see it, but pretty close to a hurricane at the end. That's where the National Hurricane Center forecast officially lies. But again, a lot of variables in intensity right now. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if it stayed weak and never really strengthened. But again, I wouldn't be surprised in the long term here, once it gets towards Cuba, maybe in the western Caribbean there, or even, you know, in that range there, to find the spot to really start to strengthen too. So again, I could be on either side of that right now, and you know, we kind of see where the models are lying there with that. Let me just show you real quick. I kind of missed this here. Just kind of backtracking just for a moment here, just showing the total precipitable water here, and you can see a lot of drier air starting to get sucked into the circulation here. We see this off to the north and northwest here, and you can see it pretty good here. And this is a problem with this system right now. You can see that kind of getting sucked into the system here, and again, a problem. And then again, looking at the shear real quick, let me just show you this, just so I could show you guys this. And then here's the shear, and you can see a lot of higher shear just off to its north here. Some of this northwesterly shear getting into the system combined with that dry air. So not the best favorable environment here in the next couple days. It's kind of very marginal for strengthening at the moment. Okay, back to the models. Again, Euro model basically almost opens this thing up to an open wave here as it moves across Cuba, so definitely weakens it considerably up in this region here, and then near South Florida, and then finally makes that turn out to sea. Hot off the presses here, the 6Z GFS just come out here, and got about 5 or 6 days of this, and you can see if you follow it here, really opens it up into an open wave, and you know, moves it over Cuba here, and then you know, basically starts to dissipate this system. So very interesting change of events here. and it could be a downward trend here with Emily. Will Emily survive the next few days? That's really going to be the key of where it's going to go, and if it does eventually affect Florida or anywhere across the East Coast. UK Met model, basically the same thing here. Basically weakens Emily into an open wave as it tracks it over Cuba, and then see you later, Emily. HWRF model, been very consistent. You know, tracks Emily over the Dominican Republic and then keeps it, you know, pretty close, basically a tropical storm throughout its lifespan. Tries to get it close to hurricane off the east coast of Florida here. And again, just another model run there. So basically, I mean, if we go today, what you're going to see with Emily, I expect it to stay pretty weak today. I expect the model track, the models to shift west. I expect the National Hurricane Center forecast to kind of shift a little farther west as well as we go through the day today. And then again, we'll have to see for the long-term effects, if it were to affect anybody, you know, across Florida or the East Coast. It's really uncertain right now to see how strong Emily will be in this area and if we still do have Emily down the road. So again, for those of you living in Florida or along the southeast coast here, again, just be aware. Nothing to batten down the hatches currently right now, but just be aware of Emily. And we got a few more days really here in the next couple days here to really see what we have as far as this system and its effects down the road here. Well, that's it for my update this morning. Probably throw another update out, a quick update out later this evening. Have a good day. And again, if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Robert, ACANFRIO. I throw little quick tidbits out sometimes during the day as far as this system. Have a good day.